tutare ture Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha Om Tare Ture Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha Om Tare Ture Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha Om Tare Ture Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha.
Greetings, dear you, and welcome to Lama Life. We're absolutely delighted to have each and every one of you here joining from all corners of the globe. My name is Dreame and I live in Poland. And what a pleasure it is to connect with all of you today across time zones as we come together in this digital yet still sacred space. Please keep in mind that your hellos, comments, reflections, and questions shared in the chat are always most welcome as they are our connection to you. At Taramandala, we are committed to being a welcoming, open, and safe community for practitioners and students of all cultures, races, religions, genders, sexual orientations, age, ability, and circumstances. And now, without further ado, it brings me such joy to welcome back Lama Tsultrim Allione after a short break. May this time together be filled with abundant blessings for each and every one of us alongside all beings. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy Wood Dragon Year. Yesterday was Losar, the new moon. Last night I was up at somebody's house here in Costa Rica and looking out at the sunset and thought I saw something like this sort of, I thought it was like a tiny sparkling cloud or something. And then I realized it was actually the moon. And here in Costa Rica, because we're so far south and almost at the equator, the moon actually lies on its back. And so it's actually the thinnest new moon I've ever seen in the sky. You could barely see it. It was so beautiful. The sunset was orange and the dark, sort of almost purple sky above the orange. It's really, really beautiful. And we did the longevity practice of Machiglavchen talk yesterday with the people that have received that transmission. And so that's a good thing to do now in this new year and new month. This is really the most powerful time of the year besides Sagadawa to practice. So it's also a good time to set your intentions for the year. This is the lunar year, which is really a calendar that's much more in our natural rhythms because our bodies are influenced so much by the moon. We women know that we have moon time, that actually our fertility cycles are governed by the moon. So the new moon is new beginnings, and it's longevity practices and also setting intentions. And since it's the beginning of the year, it's extra powerful. So from now, between now and full moon is the most powerful time. So use it well. Thank you. And I'd love to see who's tuning in from where. See some people from Germany, San Francisco. Welcome, everyone. And Colorado, Maui, Everett. Cute. And from the Gila Wilderness in New Mexico. Wow. London, Detroit, Seattle. You can look at this in the comments. Denmark, Spain, Canada, Austria. Wow, it really is global. Let's raise bodhicitta before we begin the intention to be together for the benefit of all beings. Really a heartfelt inspiration for our time together, and feel the etheric web of our connection. And how our intentions unite and multiply each other. Thank you. Let's do a little meditation before we begin. And what I'd like you to do is, wherever you're sitting, if you can turn your gaze to the sky or even to a wall, or it doesn't really matter. If you have a sky view, that's ideal. But if not, that's fine. I had a beautiful thing happen. It's 2 days ago now. My youngest grandson Jalu Dorje is here with his family, and he said, "I made something for you, Momo." Momo's my grandmother name. And I said, "What?" And he said, "It's a retreat cabin." And so I said, "Oh, show me." And so he had a staircase that was leading up to the roof, this flat roofed cabin. And on the roof was a couch. And on the couch was me, this little Lego figure of a woman. And I said, "What are you doing?" Or "What am I doing there?" And he said, "Sky meditation." Isn't that amazing? So let's do some sky meditation. And as I said, it's not about actually seeing the sky, although that's ideal. You know, in the Zen practice, you sit looking at a wall. And the space is everywhere. It's not limited to the sky. So let's begin by first lowering your eyes. So they're at the angle of your nose. And then gradually raise your gaze. When you get the gaze raised to a little bit above the horizon line, you'll have a sensation in your body. That's where you keep your gaze, that height. And relax your eyes. Relax the muscles behind your eyes. And let your mind mix with space. The mind mixed with space. So there's no journey between you and space. You're integrated with space. And just rest in open awareness. Let your mouth come open a little. Drop your jaw. Feel the vastness of awareness, which is light, like space. It's not space. It's not that it is space, but it's like space. In its all pervasiveness, in it having no center, no edge, being unborn and unceasing. Thank you. I have fans going overhead that kind of blow the air in my eyes. How was that for you? Yeah. Megan has a rainbow. It's just a short meditation, but that's something that you can do wherever you go. So is this guy. It's one of my favorite meditations. I've always loved it. It's called Namka Arte, and it's basically joining with the sky, integration with the sky. It's a Tibetan word, jor, which means to join with or integrate with. It's also the word in Naljor, which is the word for yogi. So Naljor is actually sort of like a practitioner of integration. Namka Arte, yeah. Yeah. So I thought today I would talk a little bit about this coming year and some of the Tibetan prophecies that are coming up. Oh, cute. Shadusya. Glad that helped you. So I'm first going to give some things from Chinese astrology and then into the Tibetan prophecies and some things that you can do about these prophecies. So this is the year of the wood dragon. Begins February 10th, 2024, and it ends February 27th, 2025. So wood is the element, and the animal is the dragon. And in Tibetan, this year is called Tromo, which translates as terrible. The year of the dragon is energetic and gives rise to celebrations and grandiose projects. The dragon is a symbol of the Chinese emperors. And so it's auspicious for marriage, birth, and new beginnings. It's a year of surprises and when an opportunity for expansion can be grabbed or lost. There are also natural disturbances in this year, which we've already experienced this past year and probably will increase this coming year since nothing's been done to stop it. Not nothing, but not enough. So wood is mobility, vitality, suppleness, balance, and creative power. Wood years are years of transformation. The wood dragon is also known as the emerald or thunder dragon year. It's associated with the color green and the season of spring. And so spring is coming out of a frozenness and into growth. So if you're not in a northern climate, northern hemisphere climate, it's still that energy of coming out of a feeling of frozenness into growth, inspiration, and renewal. And it's connected to the yang qi. The yang is the masculine qi, and that is springtime, and it's like thunderstorms, rainstorms. You know that feeling in the spring of, oh, things are changing, things are moving. And a lot of times there's thunder because of the different temperatures. So it's coming out of the extreme of winter. And some areas have had really extreme winter weather. A lot of the United States has. So it's a kind of vigorous energy that brings spring flowers and growth. They say that thunder is the exorcist, driving out the old and bringing in the new. And so that's the time of the thunder dragon. So this is the wood dragon, but also the thunder dragon year. So the dragon emerges from the year of the rabbit, which is very different, more withdrawn. And its awakening can be frightening, shocking, or awe-inspiring, or all of the above. So it endows us with the power to destroy old forms and bring in new, newly established connections. So there's a sense of sort of breaking open and moving into something new and full of energy. So this can become too much, where it sort of breaks into a tipping point, or taking things to the extreme in order to bring about metamorphosis. The thunder dragon represents an inexhaustible transformation and ruthless innovation. It's the only supernatural animal in the zodiac. So it has the scales of a fish, the snout of a lizard, the horns of a deer, and the talons of an eagle. So the dragon has all those qualities. So the dragon year is a year of hybrid energy, and a reminder that the self is not a fixed identity, but has many aspects, many forms. Riding the dragon, which we have to do in the dragon year, requires a multiplicity of skills, and to come out of our sort of limited view of ourselves into a more multiple level. So, as I said before, the emperors of China, their insignia was a dragon because they had to serve the whole nation. So they had to have all these different aspects like the dragon does. One of the challenges of the dragon year is to move beyond the personal into the collective and into a broader picture and out of polarization. You know, our country is very politically polarized, and we have an election this year. And so it's very easy to get into that polarization, but it's better to have a more expansive global view of reality and not get caught in that polarization. So the dragon encourages us to live in our expansiveness, in our expansive nature, in our plurality. So let's take a moment and feel that. What does that mean? What does that feel like? If you're in your plurality, like feel all the different aspects of yourself, of the worlds that you move in. And feel expansiveness. So this is all about interdependence and intradependence, as my friend Dan Siegel named it in his book, Intradependence. We're all interacting, so feel that, especially now in the world. One person does one thing and it quickly reverberates throughout the whole world. Feel our interconnectedness. Expansiveness. So we're coming out of 2023, which was the year of the rabbit. And that was a year of obstruction and limitation. The rabbit is reluctant, and holding that inhibition or that caution is actually important in the dragon year, because otherwise you can go overboard, be overly expansive, overdo it, overwork, over travel, etc. So that sense of containment, I think that's a good word, from the rabbit year, it's brought into the dragon year and tempers that potential overexpansiveness with a sense of containment and discipline. So that will reduce the possibility of exhaustion and depletion, if you can hold that as well as expansiveness. So don't squander the energy this spring. There'll be a lot of energy. Don't squander it, or you won't have energy for the harvest that you'll have later in the year and the growth that you need throughout the summer. So this is really all about interdependence and going beyond polarization. And so we have the opportunity to transform our relationship to leadership and take responsibility for the power that is going to be charging through us with the dragon. If you're caught in antagonism in your daily life, then pray that you can go beyond those antagonisms into a vaster experience and bring peace and well-being to the world. So this is really about how can you do this personally? You know, it's easy to think about, oh, the global expansiveness, but what's limiting you personally? What kind of negativity or limits do you have in your personal world, in your family, in your colleagues, in your friends, in those relationships that you can expand into peacefulness and a feeling of intradependence. Yeah. So start personally and work globally. I remember my aunt and uncle, Stuart and Abby Avery, who were some of the really first environmentalists in this country, founders of the Sierra Club. And they had a sign on their car, on their bumper sticker that said, "Think globally and act locally." So I think that's a good idea, a good metaphor for this year. Think globally and act locally. And locally isn't just your local community, but also your family, your friends, and everybody else. So all of this is the dragon, the wood dragon, the thunder dragon, and now I want to talk about the Tibetan prophecies. These are prophecies connected to the year of the Iron Dog, which is 2020. Seems like a long way away, but the prophecies say that in this year, in the year of the dragon, we need to start to prepare for this. And you'll see why and what I'm going to tell you. So this is from information that was distributed by Tukusanak Rinpoche, and this is very much being talked about amongst the lamas. And it is disturbing, but there are things that we can do to ameliorate it and to block this from happening. So the prophecy is that in 2030, that, and this is from the Tertun Jigme Nyuden Dorje, and he said that 18 armies will carry 108 different kinds of weapons and armor. Their food, language, and clothing will be different than ours. They are all extremists with no contentment. And so Chatrul Sanji Dorje Rinpoche, Chatrul Rinpoche, famous Lama who was the teacher of Christina Munson and Sogyen Rinpoche as well, and one of my teachers, but I didn't study with him closely, unfortunately. He wrote something called the Aspiration Prayer for urging enlightened minds to avert the strife of an unfortunate era. He said, from the unfolding ocean of results of the collective karma of beings, in the final age of misfortune, helpful forces will waver while powerful voices of the destructive forces will influence those in power, and they will wield nuclear weapons which could destroy the world. The swift signs that the danger of the world and its inhabitants being destroyed in an instant destructive wind of such weapons, which are the machinations of corrupt aspirations, are upon us. And even though these are manifest in the sights, sounds, and thoughts of beings, because they are thoroughly enveloped in ignorance and doubt, they still don't see the danger at all. So this is a pretty scary prophecy, and the fact of not seeing it is also true. I think it's all, we kind of avert our eyes from it, even though we know that it's a possibility. And I think many people saw the film Oppenheimer, when all this started. And so many experts are worried about such possibilities and such a war, and how it would cause harm in all countries. Nobody would get away with it. And so, of course, we think, what can we do? And so the rest of this sort of talk is about what we can do to avert it. And there are things, and there's many different methods and stages. And this year is the year to begin. And so that's why a lot of lamas are holding Vajakalaya drupshans or drupchos, because that's the practice for averting this. And Adzam Rinpoche's community does those practices. And so anyway, what it's suggesting is to build a dam before the water starts rising. And so that's why we would begin this year. And so it says to place statues of Guru Rinpoche on all the high mountains. So whatever high mountain you know of, place a statue of Guru Rinpoche in the Nangsi Shilyong posture. That's the more typical way that Guru Rinpoche is portrayed. And hang prayer flags of Guru Rinpoche in the 4 directions. So what I'm thinking is at Taramandala, we will put a statue of Guru Rinpoche on the peak, on our peak, and then we'll go into the 4 directions of our borders of Taramandala and hang Guru Rinpoche prayer flags. So that's all can be done in this first beginning of the year, this first 2 weeks. And if not, later. And then the other thing is to recite the Vajraguru mantra out loud, day and night. And so I'm going to give the lung for that mantra. Lung means the hearing transmission, and that empowers you to do the mantra. And it is Om Ahum Vajraguru Pema Siddhi Hum. Om Ahum Vajraguru Pema Siddhi Hum. Om Ahum Vajraguru Pema Siddhi Hum. So let's do a little bit of this mantra together and imagine it sending out, averting forces and energy. Om Ahum Vajraguru Pema Siddhi Hum. And I'll sing it as a melody. Om Ahum Bensa Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. Om Ahum Bensa Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. Om Ahum Bensa Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. Om Ahum Benza Guru Siddhi Om Benza Guru Siddhi Ome Ahum. They say Benza Guru, Bema Siddhi Hum. Ome Ahum, Benza Guru, Bema Siddhi Hum. One of the first mantras that I learned in 1967 when I went to Nepal, and maybe you can find an image of Guru Rinpoche Drime to post. Placing stupas in all lands and at the bottom of each valley, within them placing Guru Rinpoche, who averts the disturbances of the four elements as best you can, and then consecrating them, having someone come and consecrate them, and requesting the deities to remain. That's the Jnana Sattvas that you bring into those sacred objects, whether it's a stupa or a statue. You invite the Jnana Sattvas to abide in them and then stabilize that so they're really present in it. And so the way you can also do this is to gather together people of importance, wealthy people who have power in the world, and any other faithful people. There doesn't have to be those powerful people, but be in an auspicious site and build an authentic stupa, and then inside it collect all the weapons that you can. That would be guns and bows and arrows and so on, but also pictures of nuclear weapons and pictures of atom bombs and so on. And then you tie them up in a web of 5-colored string, face them downwards into the earth, and then they will suppress all the Jungpo spirits, ghosts, and negative spirits, and then have that blessed by a yogi, a blessed yogi, and then make offerings and supplications. And yeah, so when we built our stupa Tara Mandala, at the very bottom, 5 feet under the ground, we placed weapons, actual weapons, as well as images of weapons. So stupas act as a way to suppress war. So wherever you build a stupa or keep a stupa, and you can get small stupas that are only like that big, and have it in your house or carry it to sacred places. And so the Tibetan Drujam said, the stupa of utter victory over opposing armies, it's a kind of stupa, brings various auspicious interdependence, which pervades to all land and cannot be averted by the maras that have perverse aspirations. This is a kind of stupa. If you can make one in each and every land, you can avert the teachings of the maras for 100 years. And in the Prophecies of the Tibetan Rinpoche Urgent Sherab, he said, constructing the Odhyana temple, which is victorious over maras, manifesting your ancestral traditions, offering sang, smoke offerings, which that whole practice is online. You can take the course in it. It's not long, and start to do some. So, yeah, making song offerings and making offerings for the fulfillment of wishes. That's the Sampa Lundrup, which I think that Adrima is going to post that prayer. So that's the main prayer, besides the Vajraguru mantra that's suggested for this. And wouldn't it be wonderful if everyone listening to this could actually do some of this, to hoist the prayer flags and do other things like that. That's simple. Get Guru Rinpoche prayer flags. You can buy that online, and you can put them up. That's a very simple thing you can do. And then reciting that Sampa Lundrup prayer that Dreamy posted. And so the stupa should be done in various key places, and there are lamas that are doing this. And for example, Bakatoku, who's an amazing kind of hidden yogi, very high lama, he created a statue of this form of Guru Rinpoche to avert nuclear disaster, and placed it in New Mexico near the site of the explosion of that first test nuclear bomb. And he did this kind of, there are people that knew about it, but it was not widely publicized, but it's there. So there's lamas that are very active in this averting process. And another thing you can do is bury earth treasure vases. And my dear friend Cynthia Jures is coming out with a book anytime now, this spring, about the earth treasure vases that she has been burying around the world for the last 30 years. But you can also buy earth treasure vases from various places that are already consecrated. And then what you do is you bury them in the earth. And it would be good to do it at the top of mountains and in sacred places, but also in places where there's disturbances. So we've buried many of those at Taramandala. Beneath every building, we put an earth treasure vase, because when you build a building, you cut open the earth and you disturb it. And so we offer to all the spirits of the earth before we build. And if you are ever building anything, you should do that. So the Wood Dragon year of 2024 is the year to start this. And I'll just read to conclude this this part of our time together from Sanak Rinpoche. The time at which we must make our efforts in such methods for averting calamities are mentioned in the previously mentioned treasure text from Yuden Dorje. That's the first Tertan, or treasure discoverer, that I spoke about today. And this is what it says. The obstacles of the Iron Dog 2030 can be averted from the Wood Dragon year 2024 onwards. Since this method is a slayer of foes, there is no doubt it will be averted. Also, in Truktung Dujam Lingpa's Prophecies, he states, the spread of the doctrine of the barbarians will spread in the dog year. Apply the antidotal averting rituals in the dragon. Not just one Dharma center, but all of them must carry this out. So we need to do that at Taramandala, and any of you can do it personally, or if you're involved with a Dharma center or you're a founder of one, that's a good thing to do, important thing to do. So you can get prayer flags from the Tar Mandala store. If we don't have Guru Rinpoche flags right now, we will get them. And we also have small stupas in our store. And we have small statues of Guru Rinpoche, I believe. I'm not sure exactly what the stock is in our store right now, but you can also request that be ordered, and I will also make that request. So that's a lot. That's a lot of information. I wanted to end with a meditation for us personally for this year. This is a very good time to set your aspirations. And so let's all take a moment and set our aspirations to do some of these activities that I just mentioned. So let's do that first. And, okay, I'm going to hang prayer flags and buy some small stupas and take them to special places. And put a statue of Guru Rinpoche on the peak of Tar Mandala. So think about what you will do. And you can also just do the mantra, Guru Rinpoche, day and night, out loud. Don't let this slide. You know, the Tibetans had prophecies about everything that has happened, including nuclear weapons. And so I believe these prophecies, and it's important that we do something about them. Oh, Margaret, thank you for that information. She's saying that Chatra Rinpoche has designed prayer flags with prayers to prevent nuclear war. That would be good to know where to get them. Yes, Langa Kunga has earth treasure vases. That's where I've gotten mine over the years. What's the name of his center there in Richmond? Maybe we could find the website, Dreame, for Lama Kunga. He's in Richmond, California, and you can get earth treasure vases from him. We had some at Tar Mandala too. I'm not sure if we still have them, but we have really properly made ones there. Oh yeah, Awam. Awam is the name of it. Avan Chudan. Yeah. Thank you. If you can find the website, anybody can post it. So let's again close our eyes for a moment and take this moment in our etheric community and think about personally, what are your aspirations for this year? This dragon energy coming in. I personally am doing a 2-month retreat starting in March. So I won't be on Lama Live then, but I will be practicing intensively and connecting with you that way. So let's continue with our personal aspirations for the year. This is a really good moment to set your sails and write them down. Like if you have a little piece of paper near you, write down in a way of not I will, but I am, in present tense. Thank you. May it come to be. Oh, great. Somebody posted that website. So I wanted to mention a couple of things. So one thing is that there's a teaching that I'm going to give that is not yet online, but watch for it. It will be on our social media, and it will be sent out from info@taramandala.org, which is where you can go also to get on our list. So I'm going to teach May 25th and 26th with Lope and Beth the Nundro, the preliminary practices of the Zimbarangdro cycle. Zimba means to fixate or to cling, and Rangdro means inherent liberation or self-liberation or innate liberation. This is a complete cycle from A to Z, running from Nundro, the preparatory practices, followed by 2 Yidam or deity yoga practices of white Dakini, who's Yeshit Sogyal and Machi Glapton combined, and Tromanakmo, the blue-black Dakini, followed by Tsalung, which Lope and Beth will teach in its entirety, the whole traditional Tsalung yogic practices in the Tibetan tradition. And then that will be followed by Rushan, which are the really amazing preparatory practices for Dzogchen. And that will be followed by Trekshu and Togel, the cutting through and leap over practices that lead to the rainbow body. This will be an 8-year cycle. And I will teach it the weekend, and I'll also teach it again next year. I'll give the lung for it because there's people that really want to start this. It takes a long time to do Nundro. And so in the cycle, we're allowing 3 years for the completion. You might think, wow, what could ever take that long? Wait till you start, then you'll see what could take that long. Zimbarangdro is a very interesting cycle because it was revealed by Dokensei Yeshe Dorje, who was an emanation of Jigme Lingpa, the mind emanation. He lived from 1800 to 1862. And the terma was downloaded from Machi Glapton and Padampa Sanjay. And so they're very important in it. There's several chud practices in it. There's extensive trekshu practices, and there's the 6 yogas practices. And it's a complete cycle. It's what you would do in a 3-year retreat, which is what Lope and Beth did. She did it in a 3-year retreat. And I did all that with them, with those who were in the 3-year retreat. So Tukul Sanak said to me, you have work. You can't do that. So I did my work for Taramandala, but I also did all these practices to the best of my ability. And so we will be teaching it. Also, Lopan Chandra will be teaching this cycle. And as I said, the link for this teaching isn't up yet, but it will be soon. And the other thing I wanted to remind you of is that this week, this teaching that I have been talking about for months is actually starting. And that's on Valentine's Day morning. So you don't have to skip your Valentine's Day date if you have one. But it's in the morning, and Azam Gyaltse Rinpoche will be teaching the first session of the Tsik Dun Zo. Tsik is word, Dun is meaning, and Zo is collection. So it's usually translated, the The Treasury of the Precious Meaning, extremely profound text of a Dzogchen text about the ground, the rupture from the ground, and the return to the ground. And within it is Treksho and Togyal teachings, and also Dzogchen embryology is there, which is very interesting, actually, about how the heart chakra is formed at the moment of conception, and then the whole chakra system, and then the fetus forms around that subtle body, so on. Very interesting. So these teachings are in depth, and it will be twice a week through March 20th, and then it will resume again in the fall. If you can't be there at the time of the teachings, you can listen to it at a later time. But I really, really encourage people to do this because it's never been given before online. It's a very rare teaching period to be given. And it's one of Longtenpa's 7 treasures. So even if you think, wow, this is like way beyond me, I'm just starting, I'd still encourage you to get it and to receive it, because it will gradually be something that you can move into as your practice proceeds. So those are some things I wanted to speak about. And I am really happy to be here with you. And I believe I will be with you next week. And I'll be with you as much as I can before I go into retreat. And I always think it's powerful when teachers are in retreat, because they're really practicing. A lot of times we're busy and we don't have so much time to practice. But when you can go into retreat, then you can. And so I'm excited about this, and we'll have some wonderful guests on when I am not there. And also we have the 100th episode, I guess you'd call it, of Lama Live coming up. This was the 97th. And so we'll have something exciting for that. And just wonderful to be with you all today. So precious. Thank you for your thank yous. And let's dedicate our merit from this morning to benefit all beings. And if you wonder where I got that information about the Chinese astrology, about the dragon year, it's from a website called tigerseye.com. Very good website of Chinese astrology, medicine, and so on. tigerseye.com. I believe that's the name of it. Yeah. So, yes, special time with all of you. And we'll find each other soon. I'll be traveling this year. I'll be in Sweden. I'll be in Germany, in Munich, and then at Schloss Elmo, really beautiful hotel toward the Swiss side of Germany. I'll be in Italy. I'll be in Switzerland, and I'll be in Prague, in the Czech Republic. I might be in England. I'm not sure. It's still up in the air. I think my schedule's full. And I'll also be at Taramandala. Oh, I didn't mention the 30th anniversary. That's really important. Taramandala's 30 years old this year. Isn't that amazing? 3 decades. And we are going to celebrate that the weekend of August 2nd to 4th. And I'm going to do my best to be at Taramandala for that. And then I'll be there also at the Usul retreat before that, and also at the Magyu retreat after that. I'm not teaching those whole retreats, but I will be there if I can possibly be there physically. I'm going to be there. And I think I will be able to, because I was able to go to the cremation. So I think we have links for that. Yeah, the 30th anniversary. And during that, I'm going to actually give the empowerment of Machik Laptran and Chut from the Rinchen Trengwa, which is the most well-known and the most prevalent oral lineage of Machik Laptran. So I'll actually be giving that empowerment on that day, on that Saturday, the 3rd of August. And then we'll have other things, fun things and celebrations and practices and prayer flag hangings and all kinds of things. So, yeah, look forward to seeing you then. I'll also be at Omega Institute on the East Coast, June 21st to 23rd, I believe, a weekend. And I'll be at Hollyhock Farm in Canada, August 9th through 14th, teaching nature of mind in all these places. So, yeah. We'll send out my whole calendar pretty soon, but those are some things that you can check in on. Yeah, there's the Magyu, that's important. Many Tashi delays to all of you. Thank you, David. And Ted, nice to see you. Not you, but your name here. And Celine. Oh, it's really, I love Lama Live because we get a chance to be together live. And of course, I can't see you, but I can feel you. And so I'll see you here next week. Thanks, everyone, and lots of love.
Thank you so dearly, Lama Tsultrim. So much gratitude to you for this unwavering commitment to guiding and supporting us time and time again. Such dedication is truly remarkable and deeply appreciated. And we don't take it for granted. Thank you so much. A warm gratitude also goes to all of you for showing up to practice and openly receive what is offered here. Let's carry the wisdom and teachings we've received today forward on our paths, knowing that we are truly blessed to have such a wise and compassionate guide as Lama Tsultrim. I'd also like to let you know about 2 additional upcoming opportunities as they are both so valuable. And it would be unfortunate if you missed out on them, especially if you are in need of them on your path. In a week from today, on February 17th and 18th, Lopon Robin Gale will offer a retreat integrating shamatha and vipassana practice retreat with guided meditations, where we will explore how these 2 foundational practices integrate and refresh each other, within our meditation sessions, and how we may practice them seamlessly, either as preliminaries to successful Vajrayana and Dzogchen practice, or as paths that alone take us all the way to enlightenment. So that's that. And it also warms my heart to extend a special invitation for you to join us on a day of miracles, which falls this year on Saturday, February 24th. This auspicious occasion marks one of the most significant Buddhist festivals known as Chotrul. It commemorates the 15 days in the Tibetan lunar calendar during which Buddha Shakyamuni performed astonishing miracles, strengthening the faith of his followers along the path. During Chotrul, it's believed that the effects of both positive and negative actions are multiplied 10 million times. To honor this sacred day, we'll come together online for practice and receive teachings from Lopon Peter Usthausen. This gathering is dedicated to everyone in our global Sangha. Our session begins at 12 p.m. Mountain Time and is freely offered to members of the Tara Mandala network. Becoming a member incurs no cost. So if you'd like to participate and celebrate this auspicious day with us, simply RSVP on the network and you're in. I'll shortly post the link in the chat if you'd like to join. And additionally, you're always invited to explore the Wisdom Rising podcast where Lama Tsultrim shares her teachings. You can conveniently listen to different episodes at your own pace through the Tara Mandala website, Tara Mandala network, or any podcast app of your preference. Finally, following the tradition going all the way back to the time of the Buddha 2600 years ago, you have the opportunity to make an offering of dana to Lama Tsultrim. Dana is a Pali and Sanskrit word that means generosity. Dana directly recognizes the precious gift of the teacher and the teachings, without which one could not practice the Dharma. If you would like to offer dana, please follow the link you will see in the chat in a moment. Thank you so much, everyone, for your precious presence. We can all feel you here. May we meet again and again on the path, and may all beings benefit everywhere.
Om tare tu re, Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha. Om tare tu re, Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha. Om tare tu re, Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha. Om tare tu re.